All right, there's the bike ready to go. I've got the GoPro mounted on my Tellison neck mount. The other issue, of course, with cycling is now you're switching between cycling and walking, and I would normally have a pannier bag mounted on the back rack, and that would be my daily bag for walking around. But I haven't gotten, my pannier bag is still buried in there somewhere. I haven't got it put together yet, so I'm using a knapsack. And riding a bike with a knapsack is always really awkward, especially when it's heavy, which mine always is. So anyway, I have a knapsack on when I should be using a pannier bag. And of course, getting in and out of your abode is never the simplest thing in the world to do. But yeah, my hosts here are very nice. They actually had a whole bunch, like an old bed frame sitting here, and they saw me struggling to get my bike past it, so they came over and said, oh no, we'll move all that for you. So very nice people here.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, going in and out in Malaysia, many Asian countries actually, usually involves opening locks on your way out and then locking them up again on your when you go out. It's a whole procedure. Yeah, even when you're home during the day and you're at home, there's still a concern for security, and you always have to relock everything behind you every time you go in or out. And you have to develop some dexterity because the key, it doesn't lock on its own. You have to use the key to lock it. So you gotta somehow get your hands through there. And this one is a really funny location. I've thought about this because right here where you're fiddling, right down there, there's a grate, right? And that's like the perfect spot to lose keys. It's in exactly the wrong position, so I'm trying to be very careful not to drop my keys. But yeah, there's the bike out in the real world. And yeah, maybe I'll just leave my GoPro on my neck mount for now and see what that looks like. Just aim it forward a little bit. And I'm using a new microphone as well, my lavalier mic. I don't know how it works in the wind if you've got wind noise. And there I am, changing gears, nice and smooth, no rattling sounds. Yeah, you need a real low gear in order to ride a heavy bike like this up steep roads. And here we go. Second little trip on my bike into town. And I think I'll follow the simplest route. Oh no, I'll go this way. This is the way I normally walk. So I might as well do it by bike just to get the sense of the difference. Wow, what a feeling. What a feeling to be on a bike, man. One funny thing is, cycling is so much about perception. So for example, if you were walking, you would probably be saying, oh, it is so hot. It's impossible to ride a bike. It's too hot to ride a bike. And you're right that it's hot. But the thing is, once you're cycling, there are plenty of periods of time, like right now, where I'm going downhill. I don't have to pedal. And at the same time, you're creating your own wind. So yes, it is hot, and you're putting out more energy because you're cycling, but you're also creating your own fan in a way, and you're keeping yourself cool because you're moving faster. So there's quite a bit of wind right there. I'm curious whether that lavalier mic picked up a lot of wind noise. So that's one way perception screws you up when you're walking. You decide, oh, it's too hot to ride a bike, but you don't realize that riding a bike actually cools you down because you're creating your own wind. And the other thing is, when you go places in a car, somehow it messes with your perception of distance. Everything feels much farther in a car than it is in real life. So you drive somewhere, like people here in my neighborhood, they always drive to go downtown. They always drive, and they develop this sense of how far it is based on driving. And it would never occur to them to walk because it's just too far. But it's a little bit of an illusion, because when you do walk, you discover, oh, it's not actually that far. Somehow driving gives a false reading of how far it would be walking. And same thing comparing walking to cycling.
Good morning.
Good morning, how are you? A rare meeting with a cyclist. But yeah, you might walk from my house to downtown, and or you might ride a bike, for example, get a sense of the distance based on cycling, and then you think, wow, that's way too far to walk. But again, it's all skewed by perception. So far, so good. This is all working out pretty well. Well, I just checked the video, and as often happens with this neck mount, it got on an angle. So the entire video is like the entire world is tilted sharply. And that's one issue with this neck mount I've noticed. Yeah, forms of transportation really do affect your view of the world, your perception of things. I noticed that the other day. I've been spending some time with another YouTuber named CK. His channel is called Ecology. He's mainly a food vlogger, quite a popular YouTuber from Kuala Lumpur, and he's here in a car, so he has a car. So I've been riding around with him in his car, and then we were on the highway at one point, and I said something to him about, wow, there's so much traffic in Port Dickson. Like, it's a surprisingly busy city. These main roads in particular have so many cars on them. And he looked at me in surprise. I was like, traffic? Where? Because he was looking around from a driver's point of view. His perception of heavy traffic would be like a traffic jam in Kuala Lumpur. But I was like, oh yeah, I guess when you're driving, it doesn't feel like there's a lot of traffic. But when you're walking, you try to cross one of these roads, there's almost never a break in the traffic. It's non-stop. There's always a car coming around the corner, and it's not very easy to cross the streets. So you get a sense of like, there's so much traffic in Port Dickson. But when he was driving, he kind of went, no, there isn't much traffic at all. Oh, did you see how polite that driver was? Saw me coming around the corner, slowed down and let me merge. Yeah, I find drivers in Malaysia to be fantastically courteous and polite. Malaysians have disagreed with me on that point, but I'm sticking to my opinion. I find Malaysians to be very courteous drivers. So, not exactly sure about where I'm going. Coffee first, something to eat. This is mainly about testing the camera, testing the bike, and testing Wi-Fi at ZUS. I feel like I should go to ZUS right away, but I'm also kind of hungry. But yeah, let's go to ZUS, settle in there with a cup of coffee, test their Wi-Fi, and then we can get something to eat afterwards. Oh, what a feeling. What a feeling to be on a bicycle again with a GoPro mounted on the front. What could be better than this? Cycling is the perfect form of transportation. Driving is too fast. Walking is too slow. Cycling is like the perfect compromise between them. I was thinking about that quite a bit the other day when I met the Australian Sebastian, who is walking around the world. I can see the advantages in that, the appeal in it. The main appeal being that he's going so slow that he has the opportunity to meet a lot of people. And he has all kinds of interesting encounters that you wouldn't have even when you're cycling, because when you're on a bicycle, you're moving relatively fast still. But when you're walking, you're like a sitting duck for people who want to talk to you. You can't escape. So you have no choice, but all day, every day, people will come up beside you when you're walking because they want to say hello, talk to you, ask you about your journey. But when you're on a bike, that happens a lot too when you're cycling. But the only times people can approach you is when you stopped at a red light or an intersection, or you stop to fix something on your bike or take a picture. Then people come up and talk to you. But if I'm riding like this, even if people want to say hello and ask me what the heck I'm doing in Port Dickson on a bicycle, nobody can really stop me unless they wave me down or make much more of an effort. So here we are, down at the waterfront. McDonald's on my right, Starbucks on my left. I do like your coffee, Mr. Starbucks, but your Wi-Fi let me down. And yeah, I'm a little bit confused about the rules here for cycling, because they do have signs saying no cycling along the sidewalk that follows the river, or follows the water, I mean. So I'm not sure if it's against the rules to be riding your bike like right down at the water. Oh, there's actually, yeah, there's a little road there too. I'll turn right here and head back to the water. I think Chagi right here is another coffee shop. And I'm just passing it on my right. There's ZUS Coffee. But now we run into issues because the world in general is not made for cyclists either. Particularly in this part of the world, there are no bike racks for the most part. So there's nowhere for me to park my bicycle easily and lock it up. So you always have to look for some kind of a pole. And this is the motorcycle parking area, as you can see. So I will take advantage of this pole to lock up my bike. All right, there we go. Now I just have to lock it up. And I developed my own patent pending lock bag here. This is where I keep my lock. So I don't have to put it into my knapsack and always think about where it could be. But again, this lock is not really meant to keep a determined thief away. A real bicycle thief could cut through that in seconds and be gone. It's just meant to prevent casual thieves. Got my phone in there. So, wow. That was such a great experience. Riding a bike again. Thank you. It's not up to the standards of Starbucks for me. The coffee flavor, the heat, how hot it is, nothing is, it's not on the same level, but I'm not here today about the coffee, I'm here about the Wi-Fi. The one thing here is, in a lot of these coffee shops, there's a lot of echoey noise. And then when I'm at the cash register, I find it very difficult to hear what the sales clerk is saying. And they often have a lot of questions about your cup of coffee. You feel like you're ordering something very exotic. It's not like a classic Tim Hortons from my youth where you just say coffee. They have one type of coffee and that's all they have. Here there can be a lot of questioning, a lot of answers. You have a lot to talk about. And I can't hear them. I can't hear what they're saying. And they still have a policy in a lot of places in Malaysia where the staff in a store are still required to wear a mask, and it muffles their voice. And then if I can't see their lips moving, I have no idea what they're saying. It takes a long time. So what I want to do is download the ZUS app and then order through the app. That would be a lot easier, reduce the human contact, I guess. But I can never download, not never, quite often, I can't download the local app because my Google account is registered in Canada. So when I go to the Google Play Store, I find the Canadian apps and they say the ZUS app is not available in your region. And yeah, I've never been able to get past this barrier. Sometimes you can download the local app, like Touch and Go eWallet, I'm able to download that, but the McDonald's app, the ZUS app, I can't download those. And using a VPN doesn't help, doesn't get around this problem. Anyway. But I got the Wi-Fi password, and now comes the check. I'm going to do a speed test, see what kind of uploading and downloading is available here. That's the ZUS jingle, by the way. I was talking about that the other day. This jingle plays over and over. So, connecting. For downloading, pretty reasonable. Looks like around 70 megabits per second, 60 to 70 in there. And uploading, nice, 40, oh, not gigabits, 40 megabits per second. Huh, that's impressive. That's way higher than anywhere else I've been. I wonder if that means I can use their Wi-Fi for uploading, but it's still going to take a long time. One thing you have to be careful about, I've run into this, megabits per second is Mbps. Megabytes per second is also Mbps. But the difference is that when it's megabytes, the B is capitalized. That's megabytes per second. If the B is lowercase, that's megabits per second, which is 1/8 slower. So quite often people look at this number where it says 43 and they think, oh, 43 megabytes per second, but it isn't. That's 43 megabits per second. That's ZUS behind me. My time there has come to an end. I was heading into the lunch rush, and I was just hanging out, enjoying a coffee, and I was using their Wi-Fi to try to upload a video, but it was going to take hours and hours to finish. Couldn't really sit there for the entire day, and there were so many people looking for a table, and I was just one person sitting at a table, the best table for 4, so I decided to give up my seat. Yeah, really nice day again down here by the waterfront. Spin my GoPro around, give you a look. Nice and cool today. Nice breeze coming off the water. It was raining really heavily last night and early this morning, so I think that cooled down the world, which is really nice. Though it didn't really help out my GoPro very much. Yeah, I had the GoPro mounted on my bike as I was coming down here, and it overheated and shut down 2 times between, like, as I was riding my bike, and then when I was in ZUS, I had the GoPro set up at my table. It shut down again. It just overheated and shut down. And it's all because I'm shooting in 4K, and it's in the GoPro's inside the media mod, and apparently that's a killer combination. So if you try to record more than a few minutes at a time, the Hero 12 is just going to shut down on you. It's a bit of a problem. Something I realized I didn't, since the last time I talked about it, the GoPro Hero 13 has been officially released. The last time I was talking about it, I only had access to some leaks, some kind of leaks information about it. But now it's real, it's out there in the world, and people are testing it and reporting on it. And there are a couple of other interesting things that were not contained in the leaks. The most important information is that it is, now it's compatible with the with Bluetooth mics, basically. So for example, the DJI Mic 2, it's a Bluetooth mic, and the GoPro Hero 13 can connect to that microphone via Bluetooth. So therefore, if you had the Hero 13 and a DJI mic, you don't need the media mod. The microphone would just connect via Bluetooth. And my understanding is that the audio quality is not as good as a solid wireless connection like I'm using right now. It's not as stable either, but it does work. But anyway, that's one way to get away from the overheating problem, because you wouldn't have to have the GoPro inside the media mod anymore. But I mean, if GoPro would just get their darn act together and just release a little mic adapter, just a little 3.5 millimeter to USB-C adapter, just a tiny thing you click onto the wire, that would solve so many problems. But GoPro, just year after year after year goes by, and they just refuse to make one of those things. And the audio connection to a microphone is proprietary to GoPro. You can't just plug in any microphone into the USB-C port. You have to funnel it through the GoPro technology in order for it to connect to the GoPro. And the only way you can do that is through the media mod or through the official GoPro mic adapter. And both of those are extremely heavy, and the media mod, as I said, causes the GoPro to overheat. So yeah, GoPro has never got their act together when it comes to audio. DJI with the Action series is light years ahead. Insta360 Ace Pro is also better than GoPro in terms of audio. But anyway, what are you gonna do? People have been talking about how GoPros could get better for years, and they never actually change anything. So there's no point even talking about it. But yeah, you can see just how busy this place is. ZUS, man, is the place. It's the trendy location for Malaysia these days. Packed in there, every table taken, and all these people here on their scooters are looking for a place to have coffee. They'll probably end up at ZUS as well. All the motorcycles parked here, and here's my bike. So I'm just gonna get on my bike and ride away from here. Again, I don't know what the rules are for riding a bike along this pathway, but I don't need to ride. I can just push my bike along until I get to the end. Yeah, here's the sign up ahead. I've talked about this sign before. It says motorcycle and bicycle not allowed, but then it says ride at your own risk. So it's conveying mixed messages. You can't ride a bike, but then it says, well, you can, but at your own risk. But anyway, I don't mind walking along here, just pushing my bike for now. We'll pass by a couple of these fishermen. They really have some high-tech gear. You can see just how tall their fishing rods are. Yeah, I've seen as many as maybe 10 men along this stretch of waterfront right here, all fishing at the same time. So it's a very popular activity here. Fish, rod and reel fishing. I don't know what they catch. I've never seen anybody pull anything out of the water yet. Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know what the point is either. Is it just sport fishing? Catch and release? Or are they actually catching fish to take home and eat them for lunch? Not sure. Today's Monday, by the way, so oh, there goes a scooter going down this sidewalk. Just saying that it's Monday, so the town is a lot quieter now. Very busy over the weekend. This whole area comes to life. A lot of families come down here with their children. So if you go by the local people and what they do, then riding a bicycle on this trail would be fine. Look at this club. Oh my gosh, they're like a scooter gang. They're all lining up for some kind of a selfie. Yeah, I still don't know what these orange boats do, whether they're connected with a private company or government Coast Guards organization, something like that. But they seem to be they're the only boats I ever see coming and going from this dock here. The whole dock seems to be secured. It's private. It's not a public dock. But yeah, where those boats are going, what they're doing, I don't really know. Hello. Well, I'm gonna go look for some lunch. There's a mixed economy rice place that I know about. I don't generally go to this place at this time of day, so I'm not really sure what the situation is. Could be too busy, or maybe they're not even open. We'll find out in a minute. I'm hearing something rattling on my bike. And something I've learned with hard-won experience in life is that you don't ignore those things. You know how you get a little sensation that something is wrong, or you hear something that's wrong? Don't ever ignore it. Find out what is making that sound. You could prevent a disaster. So, this is me trying to prevent a disaster. Where is that noise coming from? More than once in my life, I've heard a sound and thought, oh, I'll check into it later on, or I've ignored it because it doesn't sound serious, and then I end up breaking something, and I should have checked. I don't see anything. I have no idea what could have been making that sound. Let's ride a bit more, or push the bike. I think it's just the rear fender rubbing a little bit. there's one mounting point on the fender that I wasn't able to complete the other day. Yeah, so I adjusted it, and I think the sound is coming from that. It's no big deal. I just have to, I talked about that already, about how nothing really fits anything perfectly. And these fenders, I have one mounting point. There's no mounting point on the bike to match it. So you have to use a zip tie or rope or something like that. And I haven't done that yet. And my lunch place, assuming it's open, is right up here beside the Marvel Hotel. I discovered this place because I stayed at the Marvel before. Yeah, it is open. How busy is it? Probably pretty busy, but hopefully I can. This is sort of what I was talking about. Like, look in this direction right now. This is a parking lot, and the flow of traffic is pretty steady. Luckily, I've got a brake right now. I'll be able to get across. But there's often times when the traffic goes through this parking lot so steadily you can't even get from one side to the other. That's what I mean about a lot of traffic in Port Dickson. All right, new spot for my bike. Nothing to lock it to, but nobody can ride away on it easily. And it is a serve yourself kind of place. Get yourself some rice, and I think I'll get some chicken as usual. Get some of this sauce to go with it. One issue I have with these places is that quite often the selection of vegetables is limited. But now we've got some today. We got some of this. And some of this here. So more, usually there's only one vegetable, so it's kind of nice that there's at least two choices here. And I think I'm going to get an egg as well. These are eggs you have to peel yourself. Yeah, look at this perfect table. And then they have a drink over here. Don't really know what this is, this drink here. Something orange. And the way this place works is that you just serve yourself, sit down at a table, and then they will come over, take a look at what you got, and then they write down the price on a piece of paper. And then you take the paper to the cash register at the end of your meal. Time to enjoy this lunch. They came to my table, and this is what they give you, a little sticky. 9 ringgit for my meal, 1 piece of chicken, 1 egg, 2 veg and rice. And then the drink, I think, is free, included with your meal. Yeah, kind of a light Kool-Aid kind of drink. And yeah, 9 ringgit is about $2 US. Let's see what my sauce tastes like. Very spicy. A lot of flavor going on there. Peanutty, I would say. And then, yeah, your basic veggies. Chicken and an egg. And that's pretty much it. Pretty simple rice. I mean, simple meal is what I meant to say. It's one of my favorite places to eat. Very casual, comfortable seating. There's no air conditioning, of course, but you got fans overhead. And once you figure out the ordering system, you just help yourself and how you pay, all that kind of stuff. And it's pretty stress-free dining. And that's how I like it. All right, that is it for lunch. And my first little experiment riding the bike around Port Dickson once again. Just heading back to the house for the afternoon. Yeah. Yeah, my lunch ended up being quite a bit spicier than I expected. The chicken sauce I put all over my rice was really spicy. And then the 2 salads that I had, the vegetables, they were both filled with red peppers. Little spicy bombs going off in my mouth. So yeah, that was a lot of spicing. And just for fun, since I'm here, just take a little detour. This is the direction all the cars would have to ride, just because of the one-way streets. And this is one part of Port Dickson that seems to be somewhat hidden. I come down here all the time because I'm on foot or on the bicycle, but it's just like a little fishing harbor. I was here the other day taking some pictures and some video, and I made the comment that I never see any water here. Like it's always just like a mud flat. But today, look at that. It actually has, has some water in it for a change. So the boats are sort of floating. At least some of them are. But yeah, a little harbor here. Some very interesting. You feel like you're suddenly in a traditional coastal fishing village or something like that. And you don't normally see this side of Port Dickson. I think most visitors never see this harbor because it's quite hidden. And there's a piece of land over there I'm curious about. There's a peninsula that's fenced off. I've never gone out there. It's private property of some kind, but it seems like it would be ideal property to develop into something, but I have no idea what it is. All right, I just wanted to show the Port Dickson harbor here. Oh, another film crew. Check that out. So much equipment to get a couple of shots. Wardrobe truck. Huh. I find those very interesting these days just because technically I'm shooting video right now, but all I have is a GoPro mounted on a handlebars and a lavalier mic around my neck to see those giant trucks. And I'm going to go around in a circle just to get another look at what they're doing. And you can take a look at the Port Dickson fire station. The Bomba is over here. It's quite interesting. Malaysia's fire stations tend to have this bright red and white painting decor. Very nice. And here on my left, I'll see if I can turn the GoPro camera around, show you. There's these murals over here. If I go over here, I can spin around. You can see the wall, the murals here. I love Port Dickson, it says over there. And then over here, we've got a surfer and a sea turtle. And they do have that free aquarium here in Port Dickson. They have a lot of interest in sea turtles, preservation of sea turtles, and they have a lot of them on display there. You can see a lionfish as well. Don't know about surfing. I don't think of Port Dickson as a surfing destination, but hey, they do have beaches. I was here just the other day with CK, and we went to this place right here because they're famous for their ABC. It's closed right now, but directly ahead of me, Gerai ABC Panjang. They make supposed to make the best ABC in town. So let's go around the corner here and see what kind of film crew activity is going on. Looks like they're all done. They're just busy packing up all the gear. Looks like they had a whole set here built. They've got furniture, food stalls, like from a bygone era. Yeah, like all this gear. Looks like they built a set to make it look like a street market from years ago. Amazing. So much work going into shooting a TV show or a movie. Now I have to relearn all of my techniques for getting in and out of town. I've been doing it on foot ever since I returned, so I don't know how to get around by road anymore. Got to figure this out. All right, got to make a right-hand turn here. And now I'm just retracing my path. And here's the Sri Maha Mariamman Temple of Port Dickson. Gotta gear down, way down, to get up these steep hills with my tired legs. To see what my pack of dogs, street dogs, is doing today. They were out last night barking all night long, man. Barking, savage dog fights out on the street right outside my room. It makes me wonder whether these dogs chase bikes or not. I walk by them all the time. They don't seem to care that much about a pedestrian walking by. But something about spinning wheels triggers dogs. But midday like this, they're probably too tired to chase anything. There they are. A couple of them up ahead. Yeah, it is something about cycling, I guess any physical activity. Each type uses different muscles. So you can be walking 10 kilometers a day, 20 kilometers a day, and you think you're in relatively good condition, good shape. But then you start riding a bike and you realize it's an entirely different set of muscles. You might be okay to walk 10 kilometers, but it's not the same as cycling. Hey, Poochie. Yeah, the dogs don't seem to care about a cyclist. It's a lot faster. I've made this walk many times. It can take like 30 to 40 minutes. And I'm covering the same distance in just a few minutes now on the bike. And my home should be right around this corner and down the hill. And there we are. There's my home. All right, gate is unlocked. But because I have no kickstand, I have to lean my bike against another wall while I lock up behind me. Spin the bike around so it's facing towards the open door. So the next time I head out, it's all ready to go. So that is it for, yeah, little experiment, riding the bike around Port Dickson again. It's really enjoyable, very nice. Of course, you get a bit hot and sweaty riding the bike, but you get hot and sweaty walking too, so it doesn't make much difference. Just takes a few more minutes to get on the bike, unlock it, get things ready. If you're walking, you just walk out of the restaurant and you just start going. You don't have to go through all the hassle of unlocking the bike and things like that, but hey, it's nice to have a bike. Enjoyed that a lot. So that is it, shutting down for now, and this video brought to you 100% AI free, 100% human generated, guaranteed, no AI content in this video at all. And shout out to the Crunch Club. If you made it this far, members of the Crunch Club, you know who you are. You are very special people. And as always, I'll see you in the next video from here in Port Dickson.